What's up? It's cold out.
What's up?
It's cold out. We've got lots to get to today. We've got, of course, Bills,
In general.
and the Sabres made the move. They fired their GM and have named a new GM. I was actually just in the midst, before we get to the Sabres, of crafting a tweet about last night's Dolphins game and what it all means. There's a couple things.
It means that the Dolphins, and Tua especially, they freeze.
Yes. And
they look so cold every time they play in the cold.
And they go to New England in Week 18. I think if you had hope Miami will beat New England to help the Bills get the division back.
Yesterday didn't help.
It did not help yesterday.
No, it made it a lot worse.
No, it did not help. So that's the first part of it. Miami did not look like a team that you're going to be counting on. It's going to be a you never know. Not this team's dangerous, because they looked dangerous until last night they got hammered by Pittsburgh, who's king. The other part of it is a caller called into the afternoon show yesterday and pointed out that Bills-Eagles could kind of be meaningless. And the caller is, I want to say, like 85% right about that.
Is the way that happens if the Ravens beat the Patriots?
Yes. If that happens, so like this week, if the Bills beat the Browns and the Patriots lose to the Ravens, the Eagles game will have zero to do with the division. It will still factor in possibly to one-seed races.
Okay.
But I did the New York Times playoff machine where I clicked all the games, Bills winning the division or not, and if you toggle Eagles, Bills back and forth, the division does not change.
Okay.
So you'd kind of have a spot where it's like, all right, this game only matters in your chase to be a higher seed.
Yeah.
So
all right, I can get on board with that matters a little. I could also you're afraid of Houston a little bit, right?
I'm afraid of everybody and also not afraid of anybody.
Right,
like most of you out there, like who knows what's going to happen.
If you're more afraid of Houston than anybody else, I heard Eric Wood on with the afternoon guys yesterday, and him talking about the differences between home and road.
Yeah, for the defensive
versus
ends.
A team like the Texans, where you are either on a silent count and Deion Dawkins is guessing almost at when to jump back, versus at home when you would have that more buttoned up. I think I want to make sure I stay ahead of the Texans in any seeding.
Yep.
And if they're the 6, then maybe it is a little important to play the 5, because if I do see them down the road,
I'd rather be the 5 and they're the 6.
I get to play the Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter combo at home.
Right, if that ever happens. Right. In that case, so seeding would matter.
But that only matters so much.
Right.
It's not the division. It's not making the playoffs. It's not I would get the 1 seed or not.
Right. There are plenty of teams that, I mean, then there's Jacksonville. Am I afraid of going to Jacksonville? Not quite.
No.
I mean, I think the Jaguars might be good. They actually have a shot at the 1 seed. Whatever. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So that's the first thing I just wanted to mention was on last night's game, there's going to be lots of conversations about Tua today and what the Dolphins should probably do. Their coach might be good. Their quarterback is a mess, and he's, they put together a couple weeks. It was 5 days ago, Dan Orlovsky said, don't sleep on the Dolphins. You can now go to sleep on the Dolphins, I promise you.
And this is the first year of his contract extension, by the way.
Who's that?
Tua's.
Ah, nice. Well, hey.
$250 million.
Nice. Well, don't cry poor for them, because these teams have the money. And if you want to have a conversation, we can later. I always like to ask it. And it's not that there's no answers, but what were they supposed to do? We can do that. So anyway, the reason I brought up Bills-Eagles potentially being meaningless is there are other games that could be meaningless. The Ravens and Steelers, some of their math could have a game in there being meaningless along the way. Timo Risk of Pro Football Focus had this. You might remember maybe last year, the two teams, Jaguars and Titans or whoever it was.
It was Lions-Vikings. Remember? They played in the final week of the season, unless there's another example.
No, what I'm thinking of is like Jags and Texans played in two of the final 3 games of the year.
Okay.
And the first one was meaningless on who won the division or something. There was something like that where the NFL scheduling quirks have it where, your Week 17 game is actually a bye. And Week 18 will matter. That's happened a few times.
That's what I'm thinking of. Detroit, Minnesota played on Sunday night, Week 18 last year. Winner won the division. And I think Detroit had a game against San Francisco. They both played Week 17, and it didn't matter.
Gotcha.
Because they were tied, and it was just the winner of the Week 18 game is going.
Right.
So... But, that's probably happened a couple of times.
It gets goofy like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can explore that a little bit later. The Sabres have made the big change. They have relieved their GM of his GMing duties, and elevated Jarmo Kekalainen in a series of statements. We found that out, that Kekalainen would be the new GM, and Kevyn Adams is no longer the GM. This is not unexpected, right? We kind of had this over the last couple of days, like this is probably going to happen. And the biggest takeaway, the bigger question is, like, how will it actually be different right now? What will happen, right? Is it just someone else making the final decision, but everything else is the same? I mean, are Lindy Ruff and Seth Appert still like the primary? Are all the assistant coaches and people that have been here for multiple staffs all staying? Does Kekalainen get the freedom to bring in his entire staff, whatever he wants? He's going to want to put his stamp on the organization. He's in charge again. Like, what really will be different? Because I do think you have a lot of people that would admit, while Kevyn Adams didn't exactly do a great job, that it doesn't really feel like he had all of the potential resources he might have wanted. Right? Who are his coaching hires? It's a guy that was in the room, and Lindy Ruff, who had been in the room before. Don Granato and Lindy Ruff. Those are his coaching hires. He might want to go out and get Todd McClellan or this guy or that guy, and you can't, either because money, reputation, scheme, fit, you being the GM. Like, without trying to say Kevyn Adams is not at fault here, could we all agree that he did not exactly have a full deck to be dealing with, right? We even kind of know that in the palm trees comment. Like, it's a little tougher up here. You're not supposed to say that, but we would all kind of know, this isn't, you're not blank check with the Tampa Bay Lightning here, right? So how will it be different? If it's just Jarmo and everything else is the same, do you feel what percent better? 10% better? 30% better? Like, how different is it right now?
I think I would still feel like 30 to 50% better. If you told me nothing else is different and he can't really put his full stamp on the organization, I would still feel better. I would still feel better given that there's a track record of this guy doing that job before. Like, I know that there might be other limitations in the organization. I can't think it's a bad thing that they are going from someone whose previous job as before GM was senior VP of business administration to general manager, than this guy who was a GM, and it's the first time they've hired a former GM that had done the job before in 46 years. They've not even tried this type of person. So
I'm 46 years old, so it's since I was born.
Since you were born.
Yeah.
This is the first time they've hired a GM that had done the job before. So I can't think that's a bad thing on any, that can't be a good thing on some level, that he would know what the job entails, what you need to do the job, and that he would be, given that also he doesn't really have a long history of working in the organization like Kevyn Adams does, that I could only guess that he could be someone that could say, okay, I need this, this, and this. And he would push for that because he knows he needs it. And I don't know if he'll get it, but I feel like that's a good influence to have in the organization, and to have somebody leading your hockey department is to know what you need to run a hockey department. I'm not sure Kevyn Adams ever knew what a full deck looked like. He might not have had one, but does he know what it is? Because Kekalainen would know what the job entails and know what you need to do with it.
Right.
And
if he needs 10 people in his office, is he going to get those 10 people?
Does he get 7?
Well, maybe. Does Adams get those 10, get those 7, or is Adams kind of left by himself?
But that's, I guess, where my hope is, that Kekalainen is someone that would actually push for that.
Gotcha.
And I'm not sure Adams ever even would.
And because maybe the owner has been moved to, okay, fine, let's have a full-on hockey department that we didn't have before?
Sure. That's a hope of mine. And he did do the job in a small market that had a lot of the same limitations that the Sabres did. I'm not sure that it was as bad, but Columbus is not a destination. Columbus is a team that is always on all the no-trade lists, or a lot of the no-trade lists. And this dude went out and made big swings. The thing that Adams never wanted to do. It took him 3 years to make a trade that actually made their team any better, and it was Greenway for a second.
Right.
That was 3 years into his tenure. Like, I've got a GM here who was wheeling and dealing first-round picks for Matt Duchene and for Artemi Panarin and signing Johnny Gaudreau in free agency. Like, this dude was going after it.
Yeah, I'm reminded of when we talked about this, I said the Sabres have to be prepared to pay premiums like a country club initiation. Like, you're not cool. You have to go out and try stuff as opposed to just thinking everything's going to grow organically. And Kekalainen did that in Columbus. He went out and he went big. Yeah. He was criticized for some of it, but at least he's like, screw that. What am I supposed to do? Not try? Right. So he tried stuff.
Right, and he did mortgage their future a little by doing it. But, like, again, like, sometimes you need a little of that.
Yep.
And him having that track record in that market and having the job for as long as he did, I think it was 11 years that he was Columbus's GM, made the playoffs, I think, 5 times. It's at least 50% better for me. And that is without, if he can manage to convince ownership that I need a full-blown hockey department, I need scouts, I need
coach.
Let me do my own thing on the bench.
All right, is the first
if he can convince the owner to do that, then it's 100%.
The first test is coach, is it not?
Yes.
You can't just roll out, it's Seth Appert's my coach.
It will feel like.
Unless
to me, he's not allowed to hire his own coach if Seth Appert's the head coach.
I agree. Lindy is still the coach for now. We will not talk to Lindy today. His appearance has been moved. We hope to talk to Jarmo Kekalainen tomorrow. That's the plan. But coach is the first test. If you run Lindy to the end and then an extensive coaching search and you decide it's Seth Appert, like, all right, well then all the good grace of changing GM is gone to me. I think no one's going to believe in that.
I agree with that.
So you could also have Lindy step away and Appert be interim, and for the rest of this year, I suppose you could try that, or you could try to see if you can hire someone.
Right.
Like, you have an opening. There currently are no openings, and I think, are there no interim coaches right now? So anybody that wants to work, hey, there's a job for you today, right here, right now. Do you want this job? Coach is a big, big test because they've got assistants from Ralph Kruger's staff.
Yes.
I mean, come on. A full coaching staff. A full undertaking in terms of
3 coaches ago.
Nuts.
And nuts. They're still on the bench. So I guess I'm almost, when you lay it out that way, I'm almost afraid of Appert being the interim coach. Because that gives them, oh, hey, wait a minute. These 4 months went really well. Look at them. They were on a 94-point pace in those 4 months as they missed the playoffs by 8 points, with that being true. I don't know what they'll do on the short term. I did think about John Tortorella a lot yesterday because that's the last time Jarmo Kekalainen made a coaching move in the middle of a season. That was the dude he turned to in Columbus. And if he does that, that guy's available. So I don't know. That would do it immediately, wouldn't it?
Does that make you feel better just because I don't mean to just be asking you these questions. I'm asking everyone out there. Give us a call, 803-0550. Like, does that make you feel better because you've heard of him? Like, right now, I've heard of that guy. Doesn't sound terrible. You tell me Brendan Shanahan wants the job. I think, I've heard of that guy. That sounds like a good idea.
Right.
Or Todd McClellan or Gerard Gallant. Or you just name guys I've heard of, and I'll think, like, oh, okay, that guy. Bruce Boudreau.
That's kind of where I'm at.
It's just somebody I've heard of that feels like he's NHL credible.
Let me feel like they are back circulating in the normal NHL waters that everybody else is in.
It might take some time. He's got some work to do.
Right. Because it has felt like they just want to do their own thing, their own people, and not really...
And we know better than you.
Not venture out. Right, exactly. They said in a press conference when they fired Jason Botterill for Kevyn Adams, they didn't trust hockey people anymore. Like, show me that. Show me that there is a faith restored, or maybe just, we tried this for a long time, 6 years, that... Or we're going to go back to, like, all right, people in the sport that know how to do the job, that have done the job before, will start venturing in those waters again. Like, I don't love John Tortorella as a head coach idea in a vacuum at all. But here and now, like, if it was going to be moved on from Lindy and you're telling me it's that, or I'm doing the Seth Appert thing and I'm just continuing to go, all right, who was on my staff already, then I would prefer to feel like, all right, they're back in those waters.
Here's a loose, rough comparison, though. Is hiring Tortorella hiring Pete Carroll?
He's hiring Tortorella.
I mean, like, hey, this guy has been in the league. He's coached multiple franchises. He's won.
Pete Carroll's really old.
I know. Maybe
Tortorella's probably pretty old.
Maybe not the perfect comparison. I'm not even going for age.
No, I know what
I'm
you're
just
saying,
going for, like, hey, a franchise that's been embarrassing. Look, we hired a guy with a name. Right. Like, we got to be careful there. if they hire someone that's unexpected and maybe bright, we might doubt it, but maybe Kekalainen has had somebody in his mind. I mean, Kekalainen's worked in the league for a long time. Yeah. He actually crossed over with Don Granato in St. Louis, which I did not realize. I was like going through, like seeing any crossovers here or there. But he crossed over with Granato in St. Louis. So we'll see what he has to say. I've got 3 goals right now for the new Sabres GM. I wrote down 3 goals. I did this last night. So I can give this to you now if you want. Okay. It's not that long of a list. 3 goals. Number 1, the Sabres new GM needs to change the way that the GM talks to fans. The last 2 GMs have been horrific.
Yeah.
Absolutely trash fire.
The last 2 were really horrific, really tough
in how they talk to fans and how they talk about their job and how they talk about their team.
Yeah.
Out of touch. I mean, Kevyn Adams, nice person. We've talked to him plenty of times. You know, running the hockey team, you could say what you want, but the way he really, like what he did to himself and lost a lot of favor with fans is how he talked to them in press conferences. That went a long way to doing a ton of damage.
Yeah.
I feel bad for our fans, the palm trees, of course, like over and over again. Like, just change the way you talk to your fans. Let us believe that what's going on there is you've got a plan. Number 2 is actually have a plan. Show a vision. If there's anything that Kevyn Adams is guilty of, is it not that all of his moves, all of his big moves were reactive, not proactive?
Yeah.
It's time to trade Dylan Cousins now. Oh, it's time to make a trade of a prospect. Let's trade Matthew Savoy. Oh, it's time. Peterka wants out. Okay, I got to make that trade. Like, proactive, not reactive. That's number 2. A trade we don't see coming. Not that it has to be Owen Power. The chat will love if I say this. Owen Power in the Quinn Hughes trade. I know he's not Quinn Hughes, but like, hey, here's 4 pieces for Power that are prospects in this because we like the guy, I think he's good, but that's not the kind of guy we're going to play with. We don't see it coming, and we say, wow, holy cow, what's that? Maybe it's a vision. And number 3 is find a goalie, dude.
Find a goalie, dude. Is
good luck, but find a goalie.
Yep.
There you go. That's the job. Talk to fans in a different way. Be proactive, and holy cow, goalie.
It really is the thing Adams never...
They never go big on it.
He never even really took a swing. In the entire time that he was the general manager, which was 5.5 seasons of hockey, his biggest move acquiring a goalie was what? Was it actually getting Levi as a prospect thrown in on the Sam Reinhart trade?
Is it James Reimer? Is it Craig Anderson?
Right, like those guys were retired basically.
Right, I know. Right, the Sabres had a 3-year stretch of going to 40-year-old goalies to save their bacon.
What happened with Adams and there are many things on the list that led to his downfall as the general manager. One of them is he tied himself at the hip to a goalie that he didn't even draft, that Jason Botterill drafted. He tied himself to UPL for 5 years.
Yeah.
And that in part sunk him. And I can't imagine Kekalainen won't ever try something at that position because it never really happened with this last GM. Ever. And on the press conference thing, you can buy yourself a lot of goodwill with fans if you just nail that. Like, Tim Murray was not a good GM, and he bought a lot of goodwill just by the way he talked in press conferences.
Yep.
And then the next 2,
because he was honest, he was dry, he sounded like a guy that wanted to win and was not afraid to call out players and coaches as not being good enough.
And even like there is stepping in it sometimes the way Adams did, and then there's also just feeling like you don't have the right pulse on.
I never had the pulse.
Like crying about Zemgus Girgensons and what he meant to the fabric of the Buffalo Sabres when they were 10 points out of a playoff spot. Like, dude, read the room. Right now, the fans have been chanting to have this guy finally removed from the 4th line for like 3 years, and that was the reaction when he was traded for nothing at a deadline, or maybe he wasn't even traded. He was let go at the end of that season. I mean, getting mad about, you thinking fans were mad about a rumor about Matthias Samuelsson before the year?
Getting bought out, right.
Like, there were so many moments like that.
There's a sneaky one where he talked about their expected goals in the 13-game losing streak.
Like, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's like we had a higher expected goals in 9 of the 13 games we lost or something. That was, I do remember.
And it just took way too long for them to think, flip the switch. Now winning matters. I think the way they reacted and treated the year they missed by 1 point is always going to sit sour with me. There was a moment in that press conference at the end of it where one of the reporters called it a failed season because they missed the playoffs, and he took such great offense to that, which in the moment, I don't even remember if it really felt like he stepped in it that day. Like, what do you mean failed season? But that was the third year.
Right.
That was the third year. It was, we're not supposed to be winning yet, but it's year 3. And then, now year 4. Now it's the 4th year. It's good to start getting going on that. Just think there were timelines that were wrong. There was way too much patience. It took way too long to make trades. Bad moments in press conferences. Never went after a goaltender.
Guys that want to be here.
Just there was a lot of stuff that showed, this guy's never been a GM or worked in a hockey department in a major way before he had that job.
Right. And Jarmo, a couple different things on relationships. We'll get to a call here too. Jarmo, as a Finnish hockey mind, UPL is a Finnish hockey product. Like, wouldn't he have opinions on him the whole time? Whether that's this guy's worth saving or this guy doesn't have it or whatever it might be. Alex Tuck, how does this change Tuck? We all thought Kevyn Adams cannot lose Tuck because it looks bad on his guys that want to be here routine. What does Jarmo think? Like, I'm not going to pay a guy that old $10, $12 million a year for 8 years. No thanks. I'll trade with the deadline and get what I can. And so many others. Like, he has not drafted any of these players. So there are no relationships and no ties to, trading away. Cousins was a Bottrell pick, right? So you want to trade away Zach Benson. I don't know. He's going to do that. Jack Quinn, your first pick. Yeah, Jack Quinn. You were my first draft pick, right? Like, Jarmo would say, like, okay, I'll trade Jack Quinn in a deal. Whatever it might be. Steve in Buffalo before the break. Hey, Steve, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Good. I was just listening to your coaching comparison earlier with Tortorella. And I would say if the Sabres hired Tortorella, it would be like when the Bills hired Rex Ryan.
That might be a good one. Had some success, is known to be, a culture of hard and yelling at people, and he is part of the show as opposed to just a coach. That's a good comp, Steve. I like that.
Yeah, that's all. You have a great day.
Thanks, Steve. This is good comp, right?
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty good comp. Because I wouldn't be very optimistic it would go great. Honestly.
You just think it might be interesting.
It would be interesting, and
it might prove he could get who he wants.
It would mean more for me on where they're headed. Maybe not what they would be with him as the coach, but like, okay, this is the type of thing that they're going to be looking for now. No, I'd much rather they hire like Pete DeBoer.
Yeah, right. 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550. And for Jarmo, that's got to be a sell job. Like, listen, I know it's gone bad here. Like, we're going to get this thing on the rails. Bring in your staff. I'm bringing in my staff. The coaching hires are going to tell the story here. And so are the staff hires.
And Tuck, I think.
And Tuck.
There might not be another player move that I would expect him to make during this year where we can get a sense of like what he's going to be doing here, but I think Tuck is one of them.
Then there, of course, is the question is how does the team respond on Thursday if, in fact, it is dubbed a must-win? I got a couple days to think about it.
I think the crowd could be pretty juiced up Thursday.
Maybe.
3-game win streak, you move the GM out, like things are looking up.
All right, things are looking up. And if you look up,
there wasn't much to look down at.
I was going to say, if you look up, you know what you see? All the teams in the East. If you look up, that is except for Columbus, who is tied. Do they play tonight? I guess I check it. Like, Columbus could be ahead of you by the end of the evening, maybe. There are 10 games in the NHL, and the Blue Jackets play the Ducks. So, it could be one more.